Hey, this is Nikki G and welcome to Better Commander. Today we're talking Planeswalkers, Commanders, a retrospective if you will. Though Dominaria United dropped some spoilers today, there are at least 3 new Planeswalker Commanders. How do we feel about that? I've had mixed feelings about Planeswalkers in general. I think in the Commander format they really need to synergize with the rest of the deck to be worth it, and I see very few in my games in the wild. I think a big problem, in my play group at least, is that they get attacked and focused down pretty quick. Everyone is leery of whatever the ultimate is, especially if it's a scary ultimate. That can be a net positive, however, especially if you can protect them. If your opponent is swinging their scary flyer into your Planeswalker, then they aren't swinging the scary flyer at your face. Planeswalkers inherently carry a bit of threat and can act as a bonus life point for your face and tend to slow the game down, especially if they get played early game. And some, like Oko here, are just must-remove threats. As of the recording of this video, there are 16 Planeswalkers that have the text blah blah bleep bloop can be your commander, and one that's a weird corner case for a grand total of 17. Now I have one, a hilly the Gifted deck. It's very interesting and runs cheap artifacts and to ramp into huge artifacts. She protects herself decently, making a little servo to feed into her second +1 ability. The ultimate, though powerful, is hardly part of the general strategy. I never expect to get there. It's an artifact-based big mana deck and it rocks. I have a few choice Eldrazi in there as well. I'll drop the link in the description. Hilly was a commander from 2018, which featured 4 pre-constructed decks with Planeswalkers at the helm. Now, Esther the Masked is a really sweet aura enchantment commander that can do wacky things with her untap ability, especially considering how many land auras there are. I like her ability to make auras that can enchant anything, including other enchantments to give them totem armor. Now, Aminatu, the fresh Mecha, was the most intriguing for me, and I used her in a 5-color blink deck with Golos at the helm, RIP. There is one infinite combo that kind of defines gameplay with her as the commander. Felidar Guardian just kind of wins if you have a way to capitalize on ETB triggers or LTB triggers, say Veil of the Nightclad, Extractor Demon, and Corpse Knight. That combo aside, there's some interesting top deck manipulation stuff you can do, and some incredible value that can be gleaned from the ability to blink any permanent. Laud Windgrace rounded out the 2018 Precon Commanders and set the furry world all a-Twitter with his piercing gaze. Windgrace is a really interesting lands matter value engine, drawing cards, digging through the deck, ramping out of control. Cards like Azusa and Crucible of Worlds go great in this Jund machine. I like this guy, but never got around to building him. Oh, you silly goose, you skipped right over Commander 2014, which featured the first Planeswalkers which could be your commanders. There were 5 monocolored Planeswalkers, and I bought 3 of these decks as they were filled with staples at the time. Nahiri the Lithomancer was a pretty sweet equipment deck that was pretty easy to build. She can make her own Voltron creatures, so you can just jam equipment in there and pack in equipment synergies, like Steel Shaper's Gifts, Stoneforge Mystic, and the like. And though I did build this deck, Ob Nixilis was a very tame commander. At 5 mana he didn't really bring a lot that interested me, it just kinda screams generic black mana stuff to me. Now Duretti's Scrap Savant immediately got broken by CEDH players. He has really synergistic abilities to get your artifacts into the yard then dig them back out. Duretti Stacks is still really powerful, if a little inconsistent in the CEDH sphere. For us non-CEDH folks, Duretti can be a really fun artifact deck. Just leave out the Mindslaver, alright? Old Teferi up to his old tricks. Teferi Temporal Archmage is another CEDH monster. He can do some very unsavory things with that Chain Veil. Forgetting that for the moment, the untapping is really radical, and the +1 staples on a little card draw for some fun times. 6 mana is a lot. You want to spend those early turns accumulating value. Then we got Frey Elise, Llanowar's Fury is another supreme value commander. She ramps, she does green stuff, she destroys artifacts and enchantments, she draws cards. Mono-green elf ball decks like this commander, but I would run Azuri I think in place of Frey Elise. He has an outlet for all that green mana you're going to be generating with your mana dorks. Alright, let's skip forward back in time to 2018. This also saw the release of Will and Rowan Kenrith in Battle Bond. This is a really weird Izzet deck, and Will leans into Spells Matter. Rowan is goading people and dealing 3 damage to tap creatures, I don't know. They both have mana value 6, and I think you need to build into one side or the other to make a coherent deck, but why? I don't know. Modern Horizons 2 gave us a weird exception to the rule. Grist, the Hunger Tide. This guy eats Tide Pods, and now he's a skull, dang it. Don't eat Tide Pods, kids. This is a really weird build-around commander with a self-mill sacrifice theme. I think it'd be a fun deck. It has an insect tribal synergy. There are 164 insects in Golgari colors, but not many good ones. Alright, then we pop over to Commander Legends, the good one. This gave us 2 more excellent, very open-ended Planeswalker Commanders. Both have partners, so the world is an oyster, as they say. We have Tevish Zot, Doom of Fools. He made waves with his -10. Let's be realistic, it ain't happening. If it does, chances are you're winning the game anyways. I like the other 2 abilities, and I'm a huge fan of Sacrifice and Aristocrat's decks. This guy has some really cool lore too, go look it up. Alright, speaking of lore, we have Jessica, Thrice Reborn. Really interesting. Her abilities are very unique. The ability to triple combat damage, but only to one of your opponents, is weird and risky. If it gets blocked or removed, then that's gone. The -X is dope too, especially if she's partnered with a commander that wants to die a lot. I have a copy I haven't really found a home for, but I think she's great in the 99 of a red-based Voltron commander. And thusly does that bring us to the year of our Lord Elminster 2022. 3 new Planeswalker Commanders in Baldur's Gate, Commander Legends 2, had to sell my shoe. This is the bad one. I don't know, I thought the set rocked, but the low value reprints maybe kept it a little deflated. Tasha the Witch Queen is a really interesting Dimir commander. There are a bunch of cards that let you cast opponent stuff like Hostage Taker, Gonti, and Mnemonic Betrayal. This is a really interesting archetype and can be insane card advantage, and it scales to the table you're playing at. Then we have Minsk and Boo, Timeless Heroes. This is a classic cool build around. Minsk comes with his own little creature, which you can mercilessly slaughter and strangle to deal damage and draw cards. Creature Pump and Changelings would be awesome here. Cards like Tori and Mauler fit right in, but it's probably better just to sacrifice Boo. You get 4 cards every other turn. It seems like people love these guys, if only for the meme factor. And lastly, until the Dominaria United Planeswalker Commanders become legal, Elminster. No nickname, no titles, just the man himself with his mighty sword, magical staff, and fairy dragons aplenty. I did a deck tech on this guy and it was relatively easy to get 20 plus 1/1 flyers by turn 7. I also put Approach of the Second Sun in there, as the mass amounts of scry and draw made cycling through the deck wicked easy. A side effect of all this card selection is that you're constantly hitting your land drops and casting your 2 mana value rocks. It's a very fun, very interesting deck to play. So what do you guys think of Planeswalker Commanders? Would you like to see more, or do they bring a less than savory element to the game? Let me know what you think in the comments. As always, thanks for watching. This is going to be Nicky G from Better Commander, signing off.